Hey, this is Kelly from the Dolly Rocks.
This is Joe Queer from the Infamous Queers.
Hey, Sleepy P. Martini.
Hey, this is Indica Flower.
And you are listening to
Our Brains Hurt.
Our Brains Hurt.
Our Brains Hurt.
Losers.
Well, they needed a jingle for their stupid little show, so they called up the Jasons and we said, fuck no. Then they called us again and they gave us $20 and we wrote them a song that said, your podcast sucks. Then they gave us more money and they asked us really nice and we finally gave in and we said, all right, I'll write you a song, but it's gonna be a clone of a Screeching Weasel song that we heard a while ago. So we wrote them a jingle and it sounded really rad. It was the best little jingle that their podcast ever had, but the file got corrupted and the email didn't work. Now they're stuck without a jingle singing our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. Our brains hurt, our brains hurt, our brains hurt. In a very non-copyright infringing sort of way.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Our Brains Hurt. It is October 2023. This year has flown by. It's pretty crazy. This podcast is sponsored by PunkBox. If you're looking for an awesome gift idea, the holidays are right around the corner. Don't wait till November or December. Then you're getting gifts that aren't coming in time and you're sending out IOUs under the Christmas tree instead of presents. Go to punkboxrocks.com right now. Sign up for the monthly subscription service. Also, look, if you're a band and you don't have a label, or if you're a label and you don't have a distributor, contact PunkBox. You could donate your music to them and they will get it out there. They will send it out in their monthly boxes and people will hear your music. It's way better than just sitting on your shelves collecting dust. So check out punkboxrocks.com. That's punkboxrocks.com. See what they're all about. Sign up. They're awesome people. Do it. This episode is also brought to you by Merch Slut. If you're looking for an awesome gift idea and you don't want to go the subscription route, head over to merchslut.com. She has awesome t-shirts that she gets right from the band or the label. These are not cheap knockoffs. She also has an awesome array of other cool gift ideas on her website. All sorts of cool shit. Pop Funko dolls, notebooks, personalized cards, all sorts of cool shit. Merchslut.com. If you want to help out the podcast, go to ourbrainshurt.com. There's a place you can sign up for a $5 a month donation. Helps us, pay the bills. Anyway, that's the biz. Now, let's get to the show.
So, what's good, everybody?
What's going on? What are we all drinking?
Tonight, I've got the Mountain Dew hard seltzers.
Oh, are those good?
Oh, nice.
They are actually very good.
I've heard other people talk positively about them.
So I got the Blast Punch and the mango. The regular one, if you have the first time I had it, the aftertaste, there's a very mild aftertaste of like malt liquor, which is very unusual, but you get over it quick.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to do them because I am not a sugar-free person and they're like only sugar-free.
Yeah.
Oh, that might have something to do with it.
And I just cannot do artificial sweetener.
Me neither.
It is like the worst.
I can't. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah,
It gets all like makes my mouth all bitter and shit. And like
cannot do it. It is the worst tasting thing of all time.
Thank you.
And I just do not understand people who are like, I can't tell a difference.
Yeah, but you're lying.
Well,
you're lying and you should die if you ever say that. Whoever says that. Well, I can't tell a difference. Then why would there be sugar still if there's no difference?
You know what? I was going to be rational about it, but no, Rob's right.
Death.
He's right.
Death.
He's 100% right.
Death by burning alive. That's what you get when you say that.
What do you mean you can't tell a difference? It's
just
so
use Splenda. No,
clear.
I'm not going to use Splenda because I'm not a fucking asshole.
They're like stevia. It's natural. I'm like, yeah, but it tastes like shit.
Yeah, it's naturally shitty.
There's this other thing that begins with an S called sugar too. That's perfectly fine for you if you don't drink it by the gallons and maybe brush your teeth every once in a while.
It's probably better for you than the artificial sweeteners.
Yeah. Almost definitely.
Yeah. I do love Diet Coke though. I don't know how I get away with that.
But that's the one.
So
but I'm not going to say.
How?
But I will not say it tastes like regular Coke.
Yeah, definitely.
You will never hear me saying that because I don't want to kill myself.
How do you get away with it then?
I don't know. I think I just power through.
You got to get that Coke fix.
Well, it's killed my taste
See?
buds and my intestines, so
No, see, this is case in point right here how addictive soda is. Soda is so addictive that Ron will put aside his artificial sweetener bigotry
Yes.
to
Yep.
his artificial sweetener hate speech to
Hell yeah.
which I have to say I completely agree with.
Yep.
Yeah, that he's got it. That's how fucking addictive soda is. That he's got to have his Diet Coke.
I'm like that Klansman in the it's bad when I can't think of the second half of that sentence really fast. I'm the Clayton Bigsby of artificial sweeteners.
classic Chappelle show.
Yeah, you are.
Yep. Railing against artificial sweeteners as I sip my Diet Coke.
Referring to oneself as a to a racist character.
Yeah.
In a sentence, not something that too many people oftenly do.
Yeah, it's like drinking a Diet Coke and saying I divorced my wife because she's an artificial sweetener lover. I have 3 different beers. The first one is this thing called All Hallows Treat.
Wasn't that one talked about being drank on the pumpkin beer episode?
I think so. This is Imperial Chocolate Peanut Butter Stout.
Oh, that's right. You whipped that one out at the end and
Kentucky.
said it's not exactly pumpkin, but it's tis the season.
No, I was in Kentucky. I was in Kentucky and I put it in the Pumpkin Boys chat.
Oh yeah,
'Cause, like, I found these in Kentucky.
Yeah. It looks good though. I mean,
it's really good.
And you said there's peanut butter in there.
Yeah, Imperial Chocolate Peanut Butter Stout, 7.6%. It's really good.
I do
The
love
can
a good
is
peanut
fucking
butter
cool
stout.
as shit.
Peanut butter
Yeah.
stouts are excellent. Chocolate peanut butter
Yeah.
stouts also excellent. Yeah, can't go wrong with a stout, in my opinion. You just can't.
Yeah, you can't.
I've never had a stout that I hated. I've disliked some, or I like some less than others, but I've never hated a stout.
Yeah.
Or a porter for that matter.
I'm just gonna sit over here and drink my shitty soda alcohol knockoff.
Matt's got a Heine.
I got a big ass Heineken. Deuce. It's the drink of my people.
I thought Hurricane
Yeah,
would
man.
be your people.
It is. Yeah, Hurricane.
No,
Those
I'm
fucking little cigarettes.
Dutch, I smoke cigarillos and I don't inhale them and I drink Heinekens. I'm
Nice.
Dutch. What do you want from me?
Fucking Dutch.
Well, I want you to break out a
Oh, and I
six-pack
wear
of
wooden
Mickey.
shoes.
And he puts his fingers in dikes.
We sail our ships right up in there.
Oh man. I'm Italian, so I inappropriately touch people. Like the great mayor said.
It's still to this day the greatest quote that has ever been said on the news. I'm not perverted. I'm just Italian.
That has to be a t-shirt. If it's not, I'm making one.
Yeah. Oh, the OBH. The
I'm not
OBH t-shirt. Yeah. I'm perverted. I'm
Our
Italian.
brains hurt. We're not perverted. We're just Italian. No, we're perverted.
Wait, do you guys have a merch store yet?
Yeah.
No. Do we?
Well, we did.
We did. Yeah, we do, but it's not. I'm gonna have to come up with. We'll have to come up with some really.
We gotta
'cause we have a
revamp it.
lot now.
Reach out the PunkBox.
And we've got
Yeah.
those fucking
Well, I've got one of the pins.
Yeah, so we have those, but in ode
Okay,
to
got
the
one of the
late
pins.
Ric Flair, we do
Yeah.
have a Ric Flair logo that was drawn for us that we've never actually put on some merch.
Yeah, it's
that
too
needs
small
to
for me
happen.
to make a shirt out of.
Yeah, I gotta get
Yeah,
Dom to send me the bigger copy of the picture or whatever. He's who drew it, but
yeah.
it's such a fantastic. It's got to go on something.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
It's got to
Ron,
go on
I,
like the back of a sweatshirt.
Ron,
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. Since
Yes.
it's been like a year since I sent you like the ungodly amount of Palmer's chocolate, what did you do with the Ric Flair sticker I sent you? It's I've been dying to know what you've done with that.
It's back there somewhere.
I know you kept one thing, and that was the Ric Flair sticker. Oh, shit.
Kept more than one thing, son.
The Palmers lives.
Let me explain something to you. Being a fat boy goes ahead of hating Palmer's chocolate. I will never throw away chocolate. Having
not
said that,
chocolate.
fuck you, Palmer.
That's not chocolate, Ron.
10 cents money. You know what? I'm gonna eat one right now.
That's as good as that, Ron. That's as good as currency. You're gonna eat currency.
This is a 25-cent Monster Money vampire. It's
Bro.
probably 17 years old.
Brought to you by Palmer's Chocolate. Remember, folks, this is the
Do not
chocolate.
try this at home.
This is the chocolate factory that exploded in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh,
Exploded
it's
from
got the crunchy
chocolate
stuff
dust.
in it. Palmer,
Yeah.
look at the Palmer emblem.
If I remember correctly, it was a dust explosion that fucking killed that place.
It definitely tastes the dust.
Yeah, it totally tastes like dust. Yeah, of course it does.
Man, that's bad.
Does anyone remember how many people were killed in that explosion?
Not enough.
I
You know what?
can't breathe. Oh.
That was bad. It doesn't. Yeah. it's-
Dude, I thought you threw that shit away or gave it to the trick or treaters or the fucking kids.
I would never throw it away.
You threw it to the kids that were TPing your house or some shit.
No, I have this right next
Oh.
to some real silver coins. It's my
High praise
apocalypse shelf.
indeed.
There's real silver coins in the bag. Is that real? Is there...
Probably tastes better than the.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
I hide my real silver behind my Palmer, so I know nobody will find it.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
Oh. I figure since spooky season is quickly upon us that we should take a moment and reflect upon our stupid ass scary experiences that we've had
Yes.
in our,
like
in our times on this planet.
Yes, that is correct. Tonight,
Oh.
Oz's scary and weird stories.
Yes.
All of our really, but that but that's the
Are you gonna tell
Already-
the one story again, Matt? Where you got raped by the bum?
my favorite. I didn't get raped by the book. Did it? Wait,
Well,
did
or did you? You don't know.
it? my fairy bum father story. I don't think I could tell it better than I did on that episode.
Yeah.
I started telling it at work to a newer friend of mine,
Oh, I'm sorry for them.
and I was like, you know what, you just gotta. I was like, listen to this episode of my podcast.
Yeah.
And the next day he came in, he was like, dude, that was an amazing story. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell it much better than I did on that episode of the
Yeah.
podcast. If you want to hear my fairy bum father story, go back and listen to, I don't know what episode number it is because we didn't do that with this podcast. So there's just like, a bunch of
It
them.
was an Oz episode, though, wasn't it?
No,
No, it wasn't.
It
I
was
don't
just a
remember that
you and
one.
I episode.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's Ron goes to Hollywood, Matt goes to Vegas is what the episode
Okay.
title is. And it was in year one.
Wait, that was the one with the bum in the bush, though.
Yeah, my fairy bum father. What's the
Oh, I was talking about the one where the guy came in and raped you in your chair and you couldn't move.
oh,
You
my-
say it was an alien, but we know
my-
it really happened.
Well, I don't know what the fuck it was. It was a dream.
You know what it
Yes.
was.
It was a very lucid dream. But no, I've told that story on here before.
No, the story that you told about the bum in Vegas is that's the way you told it. That's it. You
Yeah.
can't retell them.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I've retold that story in my personal life, but like as on a recording, no, it's not going to get better than that. No, I'm not going to tell that one because I've told that one on other podcasts, and I believe I've told it on this podcast before. So I'm going to dive into
What, the chairs to sleep?
yeah.
Yeah, you've told that on this one.
Yeah, so I'm going to dive into and that was, more than likely a dream and nothing more, but this is a very lucid one. Or it could have been sleep paralysis.
He hopes.
Sleep paralysis is a real thing.
Second could be a rogue pumpkin patch ale.
I've got some other stories, and as Oz and I were talking about this, is maybe some of these stories should be a little bit more relevant towards the time in your life when you realized that death was a thing, and your life is
Fleeting.
yeah. Or like, it's going to end one day. Your life is finite, if you will.
That would suck if it didn't.
If it didn't end,
Yeah.
well, maybe existence doesn't end. We don't know. Maybe you just keep getting reincarnated over and over and over and over again.
Of all the religious ones, that's mine.
Yeah, lots of people believe that. Hell,
Okay, so what was the one piece of media, and it doesn't have to, it can be a movie, it can be a game, it can be, show, whatever, that made you realize that death is really shitty?
Well, like, in what way? Death is really shitty in what way? As in, like,
Well, like as a kid, you watched, a movie or a TV show, and you're like, somebody died, and it's like, damn, like
everybody,
like fuck, they're not coming back.
Yeah, everybody hates this. They're not coming back.
Right? Yeah.
Oh.
And there's usually like at least like one movie or something like that as a kid where you're just like, fuck.
You know what it might be for me? It might be Pet Sematary. I think it is Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary, honestly, I mean,
But they did come back.
Right. But in a bad way.
Yeah.
And like, and it made you, and I don't know, to me, it made me realize, like, oh, you don't want to do this. Like, they need to stay dead. When somebody dies, they need to stay dead. Necromancy, bad. But yeah, I mean, I snuck down and watched Pet Sematary when I was 5 or 6. I think it came out in 1985.
Yeah.
I know the book was much older, but
right.
I clearly wasn't reading the book at like 5 or 6 years old or whatever it was. I think it's 1985. Maybe it's 1986, but I don't know. I was around that. I was 6 years old, 7 years old. Maybe.
Yeah.
I snuck downstairs. Well, it was on cable, so it was probably a couple years old then, back in those days. How long did it take movies to get on HBO back in those days?
A lot longer than it does now.
Yeah. So probably maybe it was a couple years later then.
Yeah.
So maybe I was like 8 or something. 8, 9. Snuck downstairs in the middle of the night, watched Pet Sematary. That's how I first watched Child's Play too. Same method.
Yeah.
Snuck downstairs in the middle of the night. Yeah, Pet Sematary was a little bit more profound than Child's Play was.
Yeah.
I always confuse Child's Play and Problem Child.
Well, it's the same movie.
With Problem Child being the much scarier film.
Yeah.
This is more true to life.
Yeah. That fucker's real. I've met.
I mean, they're both redheads.
How about you, Ron?
So for me, like, I think since I was raised Catholic, when I went to Catholic school when I was a kid, like from like kindergarten through 5th grade, I think it was always kind of a part of dying is such like a huge part of, well, any religion really. And you're just it's constantly thrown in your face. So I guess if you're talking about media, the one thing that for some reason this sticks out, and it's one of my favorite movies, and I think it's actually Matt's favorite movie of all time. I could be wrong. In Gremlins, when what's her name?
Reference.
That is one of my favorite movies of all
Yeah.
time. That's hands down.
When the chick is talking to, I don't know their real names in real life, when she's telling about how her father died in the chimney acting as Santa Claus. For some reason that really bothered me. I think it's because I love Christmas, and I think it's like I know Matt
Santa didn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he not only that, but Santa smelled up the chimney. That's how long he was in there for. That's the first depiction of death that I remember being bothered by. But that I don't, that's more so I don't know.
Yeah, see that part in that movie. When I watch that movie, I'm more of a look at that asshole.
Yeah. Fucking dumbass.
But yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Yeah, fucking Santa, dude. As a kid, in the 80s, holy shit, they killed Santa.
I think for me, there's actually three, but I think the one that most really comes to mind is All Dogs Go to Heaven. For some fucking reason, that movie really fucked with me as a kid. And
I never saw that.
Wait,
I've seen it.
And I mean, I like Don Bluth animation, the guy who directed it.
Yeah.
So he's pretty iconic in term and he's pretty like legendary animator. He did the animation for the Dragon's Lair games, like the ones that you had to put like a fucking million quarters in to win. But yeah, for some reason that one really got to me. I haven't gone back to really like watch it in a long time to be like, okay, so it was this one part. It's just like the whole gist of the movie. For some fucking reason really bothered me. I'm like, wait, that's the end.
Yeah.
But the ending of that movie had a little bit different because the main character, I mean, he makes it to heaven in the end. So they kind of spoil it in the title, but it's kind of like, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Voltron as a kid?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like in the third or fourth episode, one of the main team dies. In the American one, he doesn't die. He gets sent to another planet. The guy's Sven. He fights the witch and he gets like hurt or whatever, and he gets sent to a different planet. Well, in the original Japanese, he dies. There's like a funeral scene. And I was like, holy shit. Like now I found that out in my 20s. I'm just like, but I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And then along with that is Robotech.
Oh, before you I just wanted to, as a side note, I just want to let everybody know that the yellow Voltron was an alcoholic. Just an observation.
How do you figure that?
I don't know, just look at him.
You could tell.
Yeah, you can tell. He's always got those little bubbles popping around his head like he's off in fucking some other. Dude was definitely an alcoholic. I know an alcoholic when I see one.
Takes one to know one.
How could you not be an alcoholic with a name like Hunk?
Yeah,
that is legit the dude's name.
Right. I'm telling you. Motherfucker was an alcoholic. They didn't show it, but yeah.
I just remember what my real one was, so I'll go again after Oz is finished.
That's fine.
So yours are all animated. That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, they are. I just put that together.
Well, Ron, because I guess Oz is about not quite 10 years behind us, but
that's true. Yeah.
Like 7-8, so it's close enough. We can just run up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like more and more, like when we were kids in the 80s, there wasn't a ton of animated stuff. There was animated stuff, don't get me wrong.
But not a ton of that.
Oh, dude, like as close as like even him behind us 7-8 years, 10 years or whatever, it got way more animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it makes sense. There was so much. I mean, that was just the beginning of the wave of animation when we were kids, because there definitely was,
Yeah.
Yeah, I call it the mid to tail end of the 80s, so I wasn't really.
Yeah.
Robotech was great though.
Yeah, but that was like one of those shows where the characters die and they don't come back, and you legit watch people get killed on screen.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Playing with your emotions. I love it.
Yeah.
Get invested in characters, wham, kill them off.
It's like a precursor to Game of Thrones, like 30 years before it fucking happened.
But that's like, it's like a good thing. It teaches you how to deal with shit like that for when it happens in real life, like because it's going to happen in real life.
Yeah.
And if you don't have shit along the way to help ease you into that pain of losing someone or something that you care about, that you're emotional about, you're gonna fucking flip out.
Exactly.
it's no wonder people have such an emotional reaction to death nowadays because there's nothing else in their lives that has any even little hint of like easing them into it when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's got to be so fucking perfect and like.
I think that's why us Gen
happy.
Xers are so cynical because we've had so much of that.
Yeah, it's weird, and I'm not even a cynical fucking person. I just understand that like you need like life's it's give and take. You know, it's a cliche, whatever you want to call it, yin yang.
Yeah.
Life's more fucking complicated than just black and white. There's give and there's take, and it goes fucking both ways, and it constantly fluctuates.
So I remembered by far, like not even close, the most disturbing death related media as a kid. I'm gonna say the characters' names to see if Matt can guess it because he's probably seen. I won't even watch this movie today because of this. Artax, you know who that is?
I think Oz does.
What?
I think Oz knows exactly what you're talking about.
How about Atreyu?
I know what Atreyu is for sure. Now I know what Artax is. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't know what that was.
The never-ending story.
Yeah.
When Atreyu's horse dies in the bog. Or whatever.
Yeah, oh, dude, the most traumatic movie scene of the 80s.
Yeah. By far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. They don't do it like that.
And I can't believe I didn't think of it right away, but like it hit me as I was talking about the Gremlins. I was like, wait a second.
Yep.
This fucking thing.
Wasn't there a similar scene in Legend? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that the
it's Tom Cruise and Tim Curry. It's like a fantasy movie, and Tim Curry plays the devil. From the
I never
80s.
saw that.
It's badass.
Really?
But I'm pretty sure like Tom Cruise's unicorn gets its fucking horn broke off or something and dies. It's been so long since I've seen it. Yes, and I did just mutter the words Tom Cruise's unicorn because
there's one thing I never understood about the dynamics of how people died in that swamp in the Neverending Story. Okay, so so that swamp is supposed to kill you if you're depressed, right? So the horse got depressed and died.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I know.
Do horses get depressed? I mean, I know.
Yes,
some animals do.
I'm going to say yes, they do. I'm going to say all animals can get depressed.
I'm telling you, the one when I went horseback riding a few years ago, that horse was depressed as shit when he came out and saw my ass.
Oh shit!
I apologize to that motherfucker the whole ride. I'm so
sorry. I can't do anymore. Sorry, Wilbur.
It's just giving you the side eye the whole time.
I told you that story when I was in Vegas. Yeah.
Motherfucker's just looking back at you with the side
Bring
eye.
out the Clydesdale. God damn.
All right, gents. Creepy experiences. Let's go.
Creepy experiences.
Or they don't have to be creepy. I mean,
yeah, just
some mine weird, but for the wrong reasons.
Scary. I know I know I have one. Does anybody else have one off the top of their head?
Yeah, a couple.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I've. So I have like this reoccurring thing that's been happening to me since I was about third or fourth grade, probably, where it happens to me every month, every 2, maybe 1 to 3 months, something like that.
Reoccurring dream?
No, it's like I'll feel somebody getting into the bed with me, like somebody either sitting on it or laying in it.
Oh. And
I remember the very first time it happened. I was a kid and we were waiting for my uncle to come over. And I was in bed and I thought he was fucking with me. Like I thought he was gonna like kind of like try to scare me, and I thought he was pressing down on the bed, and I jumped up and nobody was there. And that's happened to me. It's happened to me since on a regular basis. It happened to me earlier this year. And in that same night, my phone rang and it was myself calling myself. Like my name came up on my cell phone in the middle of the night and my light came on. My bedroom light. And then my bedroom light went off a couple minutes later, both on its own.
Yeah, that's weird. That's some fucking Lost Highway shit right there.
It's weird. Yeah, I never saw that, but
anybody ever wants to watch one of the most fucked up movies you'll ever see, watch
Lost Highway. I've heard of Lost Highway.
It's a David Lynch movie. It's a David Lynch movie. So
how old is it?
1992 or something like that.
Okay. Lost
94
Highway.
maybe. Lost Highway.
Okay.
Fuck. It just like
Isn't that about Mulholland Drive, or is that am I thinking? No, I'm thinking that's probably the movie Mulholland
dude, it's
Drive.
David Lynch, so the whole movie doesn't make any fucking sense.
Oh,
It's just so fucking weird. Like, and it's creepy and just like you can't even explain how fucking weird that movie is. The whole movie doesn't even make sense. Like, it's just like vomit on the screen.
Well, he writes in symbol, so
Yeah, it's fucking
keep that in mind.
just a crazy fucking.
I also have this thing where like street lights will go out when I walk under them. Sometimes, not all the time. My daughter and I, even this past weekend, we were in Kentucky and we were walking home from the football game to her apartment. It was like a 40-minute walk. And we walked under a light and it went out. And my daughter was like, that's weird. I was like, oh, it happens to me like a lot. And she was like, are you serious? And then the next one, it happened again.
Yeah.
And then we were walking like a little further, we went under a few and nothing happened. And we were like, about to cross the street. And she looks at me with this weird face. I'm like, what? And she's like, the fucking streetlight above you just turned off again. I was like, I didn't even notice it. Like, it happens
so
kind of often, which is weird.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Yeah.
I've heard other stories like that, and I've had that maybe happen once or twice, but not often enough where I'm just like,
Yeah.
nothing to worry about.
You just put off that energy, bro.
I guess so, man.
Yeah,
He's got a high power level.
you just.
It could be my leg shaking. Just my leg shakes. It just like, sends the whole.
Ronnie Shakes, yeah.
Master Shakes, yes.
That's right.
Master Shakes. That's it.
I have had. Go ahead.
That's your
Matt.
rapper name, by the way.
That's Shakes. / Splinter's cousin's name. Master Shakes. I have had one like really scary experience where I saw a shadow person. That's the only time I've ever seen something paranormal. And I was so scared that I was trying to run away and scream and I couldn't do either. I was just stuck there. But I think I've told that story before. I was in my grandmother's basement. My great grandfather and my grandfather both died in that house. And I went into the basement. She had like 2 extra refrigerators where she would keep stuff like for the holidays, extra food or like sodas and shit. And I was in the basement and I saw a shadow on the wall, but I didn't think anything of it because it wasn't moving or anything like that.
Right.
And then as I grabbed the refrigerator handle, I looked at it again. And it was the shape of a person, and then it just darted back in the corner of like around the corner of the basement, into this little dark area that was my grandfather's workbench. And it was terrifying. And I would try to scream for my grandmother, and I couldn't. Like nothing would come out, and I just couldn't. I couldn't move for like a good 5 seconds. It was terrifying. But that's probably the most scared I've been. Besides like movies and shit, but like that, like a real life thing that like scared the shit out of me. Like,
Dude, when you see some shit or you hear some shit that is not supposed to,
yeah,
like it doesn't make sense that it's there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting feeling that you get.
Yeah, I was frozen. I couldn't do anything for at least 5 seconds. I couldn't do anything. It was really weird. That was the only time that's ever happened to me.
Hashtag shadow people exist.
I think they do. Yeah.
I mean, something exists on another plane. Like
it has
all
to.
These fucking physicists wouldn't be doing all this fucking work to try to prove the existence of other dimensions, which they have.
Right.
If shit like that didn't. Like,
yeah.
If there's other dimensions, which according to physicists there is, there's something there.
Yep.
I mean, I'm more convinced ever than like all these UFOs and shit that's ever happening. If it's not just us, it's not shit from other planets. It's shit from here, just a different here.
No, it's Big Feet and shit up people and
Big Feet.
Yeah.
Dogmen and
hell yeah.
Glimmer Man and shit.
I mean, I watched
Werewolf.
Tom DeLonge's new movie.
I still have to watch.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I heard that in
it's insane, and I know I described it on here. It's an insane movie.
Where'd you
really-
watch? Where could you watch it? Where'd you watch
Amazon.
it? Amazon.
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, you can rent it. I think you can rent it for like $7.
How old is it?
It's very new.
It's like
Oh,
3
okay.
weeks or
Oh,
barely
shit.
a
Yeah,
month.
a month
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But some of the concepts that he actually, because he wrote it and directed it, he co-wrote it. He wrote it with a friend of his, I guess.
Wait, is it it's nonfiction or is it a
Correct.
documentary?
It's not a documentary. It's
okay.
it's
an
a
actual
movie.
Okay.
But all the ideas in the movie are based off of shit that like he supposedly has found out and existed through his, whatever the fuck he's done,
His
people
research.
met from the government.
Yeah.
I don't know what all the fucking shit he's done, but I know it's a lot of stuff.
We'll invite him to the alien. Next week.
Yeah. But like there's like 3 main characters in the movie. And it's like it's part comedy too.
What is it called?
Monsters of California.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the 3 main characters in the movie, it's like 3 dudes. I think each one of those characters represents a different like psyche of Tom's.
Okay.
Like one of them represents like
That makes sense.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the 3 main characters are. But like the ideas in that movie that he's putting forth to try to explain to people why some of this stuff exists are things that are not very well understood or even talked about amongst regular people. They're very interesting ideas. And essentially, I think that what he's trying to say in that movie is like perception is reality. Like our perception can create our reality. And that's what these UFOs and Bigfoot and a lot of other paranormal things are. And it's somewhat of a weapon. Like our own consciousness and perception of reality is its own weapon against everyone else and reality at all times. Like you can create things within it. It's
Yeah.
Yo, there was some crazy shit I saw recently. It was an article, like a neurobiology academic journal where there was a study about this, and it said that there's actually like a different neurological wiring between believers in paranormal phenomena and skeptics, and that affects their lives differently. And I'm just kind of like, oh no shit.
It's the ideas that he's putting forth are pretty like out there to somebody who doesn't think about this kind of stuff, but like they're very relevant in the world of physics and quantum physics. They're very relevant. And these are things that are more talked about in the scientific community.
Oh, here we go. Found it. Individuals who believe in the paranormal, things like ghosts, UFOs, and telepathy may have distinct differences in their brain activity compared to skeptics, according to new research published in scientific reports. The findings point to a potential link between intensity of paranormal convictions and the neural mechanisms governing inhibitory control, information processing, and cognitive function.
But
Here we go.
So shit like that almost makes me think immediately about the simulation theory, because how a lot of like theoretical physicists and quantum physicists have been starting to describe what reality is. They almost talk about reality as your own reality is your own perception, as in like what you're looking at is rendering like a fucking video game. Like when you're looking at a video game on a TV screen, when you turn the camera, the world doesn't exist around you. The game is only rendering what you see. And reality has been talked about that. That's how the human eye sees it. That's how the human brain conceives it. It's almost like rendering in a video game. And some of these exact theories about like, about consciousness within reality and being able to use it is almost like being able to control the rendering of the fucking simulation that we're fucking living in. Like, it's
like some Matrix shit.
I'm telling you, man, the more and more I move forward into the future and the more I read about physicists talking about reality, the more and more I believe the fucking simulation theory.
Yeah.
Like it makes the most sense of anything I've ever heard. And I know some people go, why would that be a thing? Why would somebody make a simulated reality? Well, let me tell you, I'm a giant Cities Skylines fan. That's a video game where you build cities in a fucking world, and it's super fun. And there's an entire community that loves doing this, loves it. And the second game's about to come out, and all the Sims have their own little fucking well, just let's talk about Sims. If you don't know what City Skylines is, you definitely know what the Sims are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's wildly popular.
Yeah.
So don't give me this. Why would somebody make a simulated reality? We've already done it.
Yeah.
It's just nowhere
we-
near as good as what this reality would be if it were a simulation.
Yeah, we were doing that shit on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, like people love creating simulated realities.
It's true. Matt, do you have one off the top of your head that jumps out at you?
Yes. This is not so much I've told most of my ghost stories, most of my paranormal stories on this podcast and others. I don't think I have any left to tell that I haven't told already. So the first one that comes to mind, and I might revisit one or two of those because I've maybe short told them and not told or not talked about them in a while. And maybe some people on our podcast have never listened to the other podcasts I've been on where I've told those. So, but this one is a real one. This one is that fear that gets you. That is just one of those irky moments. It's hard to think about as a person, but you know it happened, and you know how close you came to your life completely changing forever. I was on my way home driving on 95. And
That's already terrifying.
Late, right?
True.
But it was late at night, you know.
Yeah.
That's even more terrifying.
It was late at night.
You're not making the story better.
In this instance, thankfully, I was sober. But I was tired. It was probably like 2:30 a.m. and I was coming back from DC from something I had done in DC. Coming back to, I lived in Stafford at the time. This is probably like around 2013, probably. And there's this little section right before you get to the Garrisonville exit on 95 South, where I was living at the time, where it comes around this. It's not even much of a curve, but the road is kind of slanted to where it always drags your car towards the right side.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
And I was in the right-hand lane, and you know, so I'm like less than a mile from my exit, and I guess I just nodded off for a second while driving, and what woke me up was the rumble strips. And you know, those nice things that they've put right on the outside the line on the highway and the shoulder to wake you up if you fall asleep. Well, they worked, because I popped my head up and there's a fucking van with a van on the shoulder, stopped with his flashers on, with a dude standing behind the van.
Oh shit.
On the left side, right where I'm about to hit it, going about 80 miles an hour.
Damn.
And I jerked the wheel back into the lane, and I missed this van by fucking inches.
Wow.
Yeah. And right back on the highway. And it was just like, holy fuck.
Damn.
Yeah. If rumble strips didn't exist, I would have fucking killed that dude.
Damn.
No doubt.
Damn.
Yeah.
His life would have been over. You know, and I would have been nothing more than just fell asleep at the wheel.
Right.
But my life would have changed forever fucking too, because, you know, who knows what I would have gotten for that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, rumble strips exist.
Thank you, rumble strips.
And that's a weird feeling that something like that gives you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what are the fucking chances, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But that one has stuck with me. That one has stuck with me.
Yeah, that would stick with you.
Yeah.
So I told you guys about the fucking Area 51 story. I think I've told that story at least 3 times.
Yeah.
I do have one that happened. It's a ghost story that happened about probably within the last 2 years. I don't recall the summer exactly, but it was like probably 21 or 2022. I think it was still working with men at the time. Anyways, you guys know the Manassas battlefield, right?
The
Or
what?
know of it? The Manassas battlefield,
Yes.
or at least know of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I lived out there for about a year, like in the battlefield, old house, and it was never experienced anything weird out there. House was a little probably built in the 60s or 70s. Yeah, it had a kerosene furnace, so that gives you an idea of how old it is. Never had anything like that happen. Nothing weird happened. The weirdest thing was there was a lot of nights where I was alone in the house, and you know that your mind can play tricks on you, but
Yeah.
never had anything happen. I'm driving home one night. It's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm heading home from a birthday party, and I'm coming. There's a big dip in the hill where I was heading east, and there's a dip in the hill, like in the road, and so you come down this hill, and what happens as you're heading east, or even if you're heading west, there's it looks like they had to blast through rock to get this road through, because the hills rise on both sides of the road, so it kind of narrows the road. But as the road goes through this pass of rock, there's like trails and ramps where people riding the horses can cross the street. But before I got to the part where the hills rise and they kind of move into that rock, something came at me, came out of the darkness and came like right at my car, and it was fucking weird because it looked like somebody running at me holding like a sign over their head, or like that they were wearing a hoodie and holding the hoodie high, like in one of those ways that you might try to scare a bear, like trying to be as big as possible.
Yeah.
And I was like, it happened so quickly, I couldn't tell what the fuck it was. But it was one of those feelings where you seriously can feel the hair on the back of your neck rise. Yeah. And as soon as I did that, I just fucking floored it. I'm like, I ain't stopping. I'm just going.
Wow.
So I'm not. It was just weird because it just kind of came out of the corner, like where the hill was starting to rise on the left side of the road.
Yeah. Was it a real person?
I don't know.
I ain't stopping for Mothman.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell what it was, but it was like, it looked like somebody who was holding a sign over their head. It was just like, I don't fucking know. But yeah, the one time that something like that happens to me going through the battlefield, it wasn't while I was living out there. It was I was driving home one night.
It could have been the ghost of a soldier with like a rifle.
Yeah, it could have been. Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been. Yeah, enough weird shit happens out there. My one of my cousins lived out there as well, different part of the field, and he was telling me that he was out there one night with some of his friends, and one of his roommates took them on some trails that he knew about, but he said that there's parts where if you go back far enough and you listen late at night, you can hear the cannons firing still.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, that's some shit.
That's crazy.
I like the Manassas Park battlefield, man.
Oh, it's lovely. It's a very nice park. It's just there's some weird shit that goes on in it.
Yeah, we've hiked there. Like that place is cool. There is some weird shit back in those woods though. Like,
can you camp there?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh. They may have specific campgrounds. They might.
I mean, it's big enough. I think you can.
Big enough.
I think there's
some cool shit back there though.
That'd be cool to camp there, or like Gettysburg up in PA.
I don't think you can camp in Gettysburg.
No, but I mean like near there or whatever.
But tons of ghost stories up there. Like holy shit. I've heard some people talk about seeing like entire battles.
Yeah.
On the field of like ghosts and stuff. And all those Civil War places, man. I know my dad lived in one. Well, sort of close to one. Like
really?
I had my own ghost story from there, which I'm sure I've told on this podcast. Maybe I haven't, but my dad lived in Keedysville, Maryland, which is right near Antietam.
Fucking Antietam, yeah.
And was one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War, if not the bloodiest. But Keedysville became a town because they used that area for the the headquarters of the Confederacy during the Battle of Antietam. And my dad's house was the house. He lived in two houses there. So one of the two that he lived in, they were right next door to each other too, which is funny and weird.
Yeah.
But the one was used as the hospital during this. It was like the
shit.
Confederate hospital, and that's not even where anything ever happened. Like nothing ever happened in my dad's house. I never heard nothing,
Mhm.
never saw nothing. We never even had one little inkling that maybe there was a ghost or something weird going on. Nothing. But down the street, my friend lived in this little house that was the actual like headquarters.
Mm.
That was the house that was built as the headquarters. It was this really old stone house that was built, right before that battle started in 1860, whatever. And in that house, weird shit would go down. And specifically what went down was the instance that made me understand that there is something else in our universe that is, I don't know, there's something otherworldly that exists, that things can happen. Because I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, and my friend's parents had gone to the grocery store and left us there by ourselves because that was the 80s.
Yeah, totally.
And especially in small town America.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so we had been playing outside because there was a creek in the backyard. And we came in, and the stairs to go upstairs were off the kitchen. And it was one of those really old 1800 staircases that it's just like a small doorway, and they immediately go in and turn up and go to the right, And so we go up, and we're walking up the stairs. This is a narrow kind of hallway. And we hear up to the left footsteps, like almost running, like doom, 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 like coming towards the top of the stairs. And he turns around and looks at me with this look on his face, because like we both know nobody's home.
Yeah.
And with like, what? And then the footsteps get to where the door is, and then there's nothing. And it's completely silent. And he's like looking, because he's up above me on the stairs looking down at me. He's looking at me with this like real fucked up look on his face, like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden, he just hits the fucking wall to the right of me.
Wow.
Like something pushed him into the wall. But, if nothing's there to push somebody into a wall, it's a very weird thing to see. And I'm just bewildered for a second, like, what just happened? And then I get shoved into the wall. Wow. And then both of us fucking look at each other again and run out of the house screaming because we're like 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And what the fuck was that? We just both got shoved by something that didn't exist.
Wow.
And
That's wild.
Crazy life lesson at like 9. And I still don't know what to fucking think of that to this day. But
so you believe in ghosts?
I don't know if I believe in ghosts as like it's the dead that are trapped here, and I believe in energy, and I believe that energy cannot be created, nor can it dissipate. It just
it's got to go somewhere. Yeah,
it just exists.
Yeah.
And a human being creates an energy. Some people, I think, may call it the soul. But when the physical body dies, that energy's got to go somewhere.
Right.
Back to the universe, gets trapped here. Who knows? I think there's a lot of unknowns in this universe that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
That's
you believe
my
in ghosts?
theory, at least.
Yeah.
Do I believe in ghosts? I acknowledge that the possibility that they exist. If I've certainly heard enough accounts of that give some kind of a credence to like some kind of evidence that there is some kind of special activity going on. I've only had the one experience. It could have been a lot of things, and that could have legit been somebody out in the field some bored ass college kids trying to scare the shit out of somebody. Who knows? But yeah, no, I think they
it's totally a possibility.
They definitely exist. Yeah.
I've seen enough weird shit in my life that something. There's something.
Oh no, there's definitely
I
something.
know. Yeah, I know something
Yeah.
exists. I've heard it. I've seen it. You can tell me I'm full of shit all you want. If you haven't seen any of that stuff, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just more receptive to it, but I have.
Yeah.
And so you can go fuck yourself because I know it exists.
Yeah. Along with you Splenda lovers.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
You know what? As a matter of fact, you Splenda lovers.
Do we have time for one more?
You fucking Splenda lover, non-believing.
I've still got a little bit of.
They don't come back because they go straight to hell.
I bet they live in the suburbs too.
Probably.
Yeah, almost definitely.
All right, I've got a little bit of Bob last left, but Matt, I've sent Matt the story before. Now, this is one I actually chronicled myself. It's not so much a ghost story as it is a terrible ass experience. And I would like to publicly thank the Jasons for opening the gates and letting the shit flow.
Please never thank them again on this podcast.
Oh, the Jason.
And I will thank them again at some point.
They bring out my wife.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so this is one that I have written, so you're gonna have to bear with my shitty reading one more time. Context: I was on a trip out in 2015. This is the same trip as the Area 51 one. It's just this was like probably 4 days before the Area 51 happened, and we were driving through the Mojave. We camped outside Joshua Tree. I don't know if it was actually in the park, but I think it was close enough. But there's all kinds of weird camping grounds and shit out there. All right. There was a meteor shower this night, so it was like in the middle of the week. So this was a Wednesday, and people were coming out from all over the place to watch this fucking meteor shower in the middle of the week. It was really unusual, but yeah. So this is like later in the evening. So sequence of events. Well, we'd been sitting around the campfire and those shitty $10 folding chairs we bought from Walmart or Wally World. I cut my finger on my buddy Kyle's knife when I was checking the blade. The cut was on the finger on the left side of my left hand along the cuticle on the left side of the fingernail, and that shit was deep. So it was my thumb. I cut my left thumb, and it bled for hours, regardless of how much pressure I put on it. So I ended up having to wrap it in a paper towel, and the blood, and it didn't stop bleeding until like after 1 o'clock that night, and we started drinking. So we were passing around a bottle of Maker's Mark that we'd gotten from 29 Palms.
I love
Beautiful.
them makers.
Yeah.
Yummy.
So to paint the picture for you, and drinking after having a pretty deep cut, not the smartest thing I've ever done. But
I'll go the opposite direction. I think it's a great idea.
It is a great. Let that blood flow.
But yeah, this didn't change the fact that I had to take a massive shit at some point during the night. So the campsite had an outhouse, and I normally wouldn't talk about this, but it wasn't like a normal outhouse. It was like it had charm. It was a legit outhouse that was probably put there by the park authority. I'm not really sure, but it was like a porter shitter with some dignity. When you first see it, it's not totally bad. It's like it's got a lot of room to move around. It's a decent sized room when you walk in, but that's until you walk in. And I'm not sure who coined the term brick shit house, if it was the Brits or the Aussies, but yeah, may they be blessed, because this is literally what this was. It was a small plastered porter room with a mock toilet, a total mockery of a shitter. The seat itself was just a hole that you could sit on over a large septic tank on the ground where shit dropped.
Ugh.
Yeah, it gives some very real, very literal meaning to the term "as above, so below."
It's charm, you know.
Yeah. So when you walk in, it's like unassuming. So you realize but that's until you walk in, you realize you just stepped through the portal to hell on 3 levels. The first is that the room is dark as shit. So you have no choice but to use the flashlight feature on your phone to light your way through the darkness in the room and in your soul. The second is that the room is hotter than hell. So you break out in a legit sweat as soon as you walk in. The walls are made of like that stucco brick that every fucking public school is made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like is there like every public school is made of?
Yep.
And so those due to that, it traps the heat from the sunlight during the day. And it's perfect setup for making you wish you'd never eaten anything at all before being in the park or during your stay. The third is the stench of shit that's contained in the small room. They wanted to assure you that your factory senses are left to complete waste with nothing intact after you exit the room. There are some bugs flying around in it. That's not that bad. That's pretty typical. Oh, the first part of the shitstorm. If you have to take a big shit, which requires you to spend a lot of time, which requires you spending a lot of time on the shit, or like 90% of the 90% of the shits I take, you're fucked. That's just time of shitting in a dark room, air hot as balls, with the rancid stench of shit all around you. I have no way of knowing if they ever emptied that thing or if it's just if they use chemicals to break down the shit.
Never.
But may the angels
don't.
protect you. If some splash log, to provide some context, it's when the velocity of one shit hits the water with such force upon contact, you get sprayed.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Poseidon's kiss. That's a kiss.
Oh, is that
Poseidon.
what
That's
it
the
is?
kiss of
Poseidon's
Poseidon
kiss?
right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poseidon's kid.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
'cause
don't
I'm-
want. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, because I'm familiar with the
Yeah.
witch's kiss, which is where your dick touches the inside of the toilet bowl.
Oh, yeah, the witch's kiss. Yeah.
What's his witch's kiss?
Yeah, the witch's kiss. Yeah,
What is that?
it's where your dick touches the inside of the toilet bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the kiss of Poseidon is when the log hits the water so hard that it splashes up and hits your butthole.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely happened.
Which isn't
Yeah.
bad if it's your own toilet. But
Well, it's yeah.
It's
mean-
more. It's probably more preferable because you know where it's been, or
It's
what's
not
been in
really-
it.
It's not
Yeah.
really bad in any toilet.
well,
Yeah.
any toilet, yeah, but in a porta potty,
If the toilet, yeah. Well, no, you. Oh, yeah.
that's when you just kill yourself.
If you, yeah, if you get the kiss of Poseidon in a porta potty, just fucking
You
light
have
the whole
herpes.
thing on fire right then and there
Yeah.
with you inside it. Yeah,
Just Google how to live with herpes.
That's it.
Yeah. So
No.
you don't feel quite right after an experience like that.
Mm. No, you don't.
And I had to make 3 trips to that fucking bathroom that night.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So if you can imagine this picture, it's the middle of the night. You can't say shit. You're in a room that's hot as hell with a rancid stench of shit, and you have to use your cell phone to light your way, and you're in there for an undeterminable amount of time. Thankfully, after you leave, it's like dying and going through hell and being reborn. The air feels as cool as a fresh spring day at 75 degrees, with a gentle, warm breeze lovingly caressing your skin. It's unadulterated glory.
Yes,
This is the Halloween episode. So happy Halloween, everybody.
that's right. Well, there will be one more episode before Halloween.
Oh yeah, but okay,
Oh,
they're all
This is the
Halloween.
Halloween episode. Yeah.
You're too
I'm
kind.
going to see Rocky Horror Picture Live
Ooh,
in the theater. I'm excited.
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Wait, you're going to see it in a theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
A young and attractive Tim Curry.
Yeah. And mobile. Yeah, I've never I never saw it in
got
a
me.
theater before.
You almost got me on that one. I almost spit my drink out.
Yeah. I'm going with Tom. Tom's going with me. So
Tom Cruise?
yep, Tom Cruise. Yeah. And
Oh,
we're actually going
wait.
to see The
Probably
Exorcist.
Tom Yusko. I don't
Yeah,
know why
Tom Yusko
Cruise
for
was
sure.
the first to come to my head.
I asked Tom Cruise first. He couldn't go, so I was like, fuck, I'll
Yeah,
ask
well,
Tom.
Tom Yusko's a
Yeah.
distant second choice,
Yes.
but still a good one. But still a good
Yes. And then we're going to go see The Exorcist in the movie theater on November 1st, the day after Halloween.
Nice.
Same theater, which is the greatest theater, AFI Silver. And if you live near Silver Spring, Maryland, you should go there. It's right across the street from the Fillmore. They show old movies and shit. It's a really, really cool place.
Gents, happy Halloween. Thank you
guys.
again.
Happy Halloween.
Thanks,
Happy
guys. It's
Halloween,
always been-
everybody.
rock. All right, man.
All right, guys. I'll see you next
We'll
time.
talk to you. All right, later.
Later, man.
Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks for hanging out for another week. Be sure to check out punkboxrocks.com and merchslut.com. Check us out on all social media outlets at ourbrainshurt and at ourbrainshurt.com. We will talk to you next week. Stay safe. Adios.
How do I do this shit? I can still hear you. So what do I have to press? Close.